Here to learn, teach each other, while we're learning from another robot.
Here's the thing, man, and I'm glad you asked that question, because I think that could be the biggest detriment to any community, and as far as our community, it can be the biggest detriment. However, social media can be used for good or bad, right? Everything can be used for good or bad, right?
Right.
And I'll give you an example. There are some people who, I ain't gonna use certain words because I don't want to get flagged, but we can use a cell phone to talk. They can use a cell phone to take out a community. You get what I'm saying? So you can use something for good or bad, right?
Right.
Whether depending on what that cell phone was attached to, and they hit a button, and you get what I mean? So, but at the end of the day, man, it's about the idea that you take the opportunity that social media, AI, is giving you. This is the first time in history, almost, that's almost like the revolutionary, or certain times in our American, when we went to the idea of the industrial age, right? We went from farming to actually machine work and creating cars.
Right.
This is another transition we're going through.
Okay.
And realistically, there are going to be a lot of people who are pushing back on it, man. I'm older, I'm 47. There are a lot of people who aren't as adept to it, right?
Thanks.
Because we're so used to realizing we had to do the hard work. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
If we wanted to start a little business, we had to figure out how to register it. We had to go downtown to get it done. Then you had to market it with flyers and all this other stuff. But with AI, new technology, end of the day, man, it makes everything easy. So I say it's an opportunity for us to take whatever your passion is, whatever you're interested in, and grow it. To be honest, I have no problem with it. I'm a little behind, but I'm learning, man.
Man, I love how you said that. We said it in one way, in one aspect, but it kind of trickled down and backfired on us in another aspect.
Right.
And I'm going to explain to you and give you an example how.
Okay.
I have a father,
Right.
Grew up military man, Navy man, very military. Me and him had a conversation recently, and he was like, dude, back in my days, kids valued, the things that their father and mother did, and tried to come up in likenhoods of something like it, somewhere in the same fields.
Right.
He said nowadays, kids are not doing that. They don't.
That's true.
So it's kind of creating a dysfunction of this thing in the African American families.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, man, and that is one way of looking at it, right? Because realistically, and I'll give a small example. You can go to YouTube and look up kid barbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens is, my biggest thing is, it goes back to exposure, right? When you're exposed to it, and once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Nice.
My man Wall Street Trapper said that, listen, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And then once you do it, you can't undo it. There is a disconnect from certain generations, right?
Thanks.
We did value what our parents did because realistically, that was the only way.
Okay.
I have a nephew who's 30 years old, man, and I had to realize that the way the youngsters are doing it, and I call him a youngster, but the way young people are doing it nowadays, man, and is different. And different is not always bad, right?
Right.
So there is a disconnect, and we did value our parents because those were the only values we had. Now, don't get it twisted. I think that some young generations can learn from us.
Thanks.
Because we're not in that world totally. You still have to learn how to talk to people. You still have to learn how to connect with people on a one-on-one basis. You still have to learn how to conduct yourself, because those who own everything expect a certain type of decorum for you to get past, because there's gatekeepers everywhere, right?
Most definitely.
But it does not stop you from spreading your own message, right?
Thanks.
And understanding getting in front of anything before anybody else paints a picture. That's the one thing that you guys have the ability to do that we didn't.
Right.
They can paint a picture of me and your dad and say, here's what black people are. You have the opportunity to do exactly what you're doing. Put up a camera, and anybody can do this. Put up a camera and say, here's who I am, here's what it is, and here's what I believe in, right? And paint the picture of what you want to do for your community so it can never be misconstrued.
Right.
So there is there's great value, I believe, and I'm a little biased because I'm older. I can, Gen X, almost 50. There's a lot you guys can learn to take what you guys have to another level. This is why you see a lot of entrepreneurs who are my age that are doing very, very well, because we get the best of both worlds. The technology part of it, where we understand what we heard our parents say ain't necessarily true.
Right.
Y'all had to work your butt and go do 2 or 3 jobs to make $100,000.
Exactly.
I can go drop a few videos and make $100,000. But the base is the community says, how does that, where we come from and my parents came from, how does that affect your community? That's the part we're missing. You and I had the conversation. You can put some good stuff out there to affect our community. And this is why I agreed to come on this podcast when we got to talking. I want you to be able to take this and spread it to the community that you're part of. And it don't just mean black people. It can mean whatever, right?
Definitely.
To be able to uplift them and say, young brother, there's a different way. Because that's all we need is opportunity. So I get what your dad is saying. I agree, but I'll add on to it by saying we have to be able, as that generation, to say, hey, I want to learn what you're doing too. Right. So we can actually transition, because once again, if you're not growing and adapting, then you're gonna get phased out.
Exactly. Man, I love it. Man, you're on point. You're on point about a lot of things I can kind of go back off of and piggyback, but I want to keep it going because, man, we already into it, man. Man, with that being said, it's like, a lot of the younger and